please do not scroll away from this moment, because I truly believe God directed you here to hear that your massive miracle is arriving this week. And if this message brings peace to your spirit, I'd be so grateful if you subscribe to our channel so we can continue walking this path of faith together. You didn't stumble on this video by chance, nor was it a random algorithm that placed this audio in front of you. There is a specific, undeniable reason why your eyes are watching this right now, at this exact moment in your life. You have been carrying a weight so heavy that it has started to feel like part of your own skin. The exhaustion isn't just physical anymore. It is a deep, spiritual fatigue that settles into your bones when you have been waiting and waiting for a season to change. But all you see are the same closed doors and the same silent skies. I know about the nights when the house is completely quiet, but your mind is screaming. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling in the dark, replaying conversations, calculating numbers, and wondering how much longer you can actually hold on. You've been putting on a brave face for everyone else. You smile at work, you encourage your friends, you tell your family that everything is going to be all right, but inside, you feel like a fragile glass window that is one tap away from shattering into a million pieces. It is terrifying to feel like you are doing everything right, praying, fasting, believing, working hard, and yet the heavens seem like solid brass. You've had moments where you looked up, with tears stinging your eyes, and whispered, "God, did you forget about me? Because I am drowning down here, and my arms are getting too tired to swim." Think about the specific things causing that hard, cold knot in your stomach right now. It's the stack of bills on the kitchen counter that you avoid looking at because the math simply doesn't work out, no matter how many times you run the numbers. It's that doctor's appointment where the waiting room felt freezing cold, and the news the doctor delivered wasn't what you had spent weeks praying for. It's the relationship that feels like sand slipping through your fingers, no matter how tightly you try to clench your fists to hold on to it. I know about those moments when you sit in your parked car for 10 extra minutes before walking into your house, gripping the steering wheel and just trying to compose yourself so your kids or your spouse don't see the panic in your eyes. You dry your face, take a deep breath, paste on a smile, and walk inside, playing the role of the strong one, the provider, the rock. But God sees the person in the parked car. He sees the real, terrified, exhausted you. There was a moment recently, maybe a few days ago, maybe even this very morning, where you finally hit your absolute breaking point. You didn't yell. You didn't scream. You just broke. Maybe you were standing in the shower, letting the hot water hide your tears so nobody could hear you cry. Or maybe you were sitting on the edge of your bed, staring at your shoes, and you just surrendered. You told God, "I literally cannot do this anymore. I have no fight left in me. I am empty." You felt completely hollowed out. But I need you to understand something crucial about that exact moment of absolute emptiness. That wasn't the tragic end of your story. That was the necessary clearing out of your own human strength, so that God's supernatural power could finally step in and take over. When you reach the terrifying place where you have nothing left but God, you suddenly realize that God is more than enough. And that brings us to the profound promise of this very week. God is speaking directly to that broken, exhausted version of you right now, and He is saying, the waiting is officially over. The spiritual atmosphere around your life is shifting at this very second. You might not see it with your physical eyes yet, because our eyes only process the natural world. But in the unseen realm, massive mountainous pieces are moving into place on your behalf. The painful delay you experienced over the last few years was not a denial of your prayer. The delay was protection. The delay was preparation. God was holding back the blessing because He was busy building the foundation of character within you, so that when the massive miracle arrived, it wouldn't crush you under its weight. He was busy aligning the right people, permanently closing the wrong doors, and setting up a stage for a breakthrough so undeniable that nobody could take the credit for it but Him. Imagine waking up a few days from now. A morning light filtering through your window feels different. The heavy dread that usually sits on your chest like a stone before you even open your eyes is just gone. You reach for your phone, or you open an email, or you receive a sudden phone call, and suddenly, the entire landscape of your life changes in a matter of 30 seconds. The crushing financial burden that has been suffocating your peace is suddenly lifted by an unexpected provision. The medical report comes back, and the doctors are looking at the charts in total confusion because the issue is completely, inexplicably resolved. The prodigal child calls home weeping. The broken marriage finds a sudden, beautiful spark of healing. The perfect job offer arrives, completely out of nowhere, from a company you didn't even apply to. This isn't a fairy tale to make you feel good for 5 minutes. This is the reality of serving a God who operates in the suddenlies. He is the master of the 11th hour, the God who shows up right when the clock is ticking down to zero. But why this week? Why now, after all this agonizing time in the desert? Because there is a spiritual principle at work in your life that the enemy desperately does not want you to know. The darkest, coldest, most terrifying part of the night is always the hour right before the sun breaks over the horizon. The severe resistance you have been feeling, the intense spiritual warfare, the sudden influx of bad news, the feeling that everything in your life is falling apart all at the exact same time, is actually the greatest indicator that you are standing on the very edge of your promised land. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you this violently if you were headed the wrong way. He is throwing everything he has at you to make you drop your hands and quit right before you cross the finish line. If you believe with all your heart that you are crossing that finish line and claiming your victory this week, take a second right now and just type Amen in the comments to seal that truth in your spirit. Let's look at nature to understand what God is doing with your life. Think about the incredible bamboo tree. A farmer will plant a tiny bamboo seed, water it carefully, and fertilize it for an entire year. And absolutely nothing happens. The ground remains completely flat and brown. He continues this backbreaking work for a second year, a third year, a fourth year. Still, absolutely nothing breaks the surface. Neighbors walk by and think he has lost his mind, pouring water and hope onto barren dirt. But the farmer knows something they don't. He knows that beneath the dark soil, the bamboo is aggressively growing a massive, complex root system, preparing to support what is about to happen. Then in the 5th year, the bamboo finally breaks through the ground and miraculously grows 90 feet tall in just 6 weeks. Your life has been in those invisible years. You've been watered with your own tears. You've been forced to grow roots in the dark, isolated places. It looked to everyone else like nothing was happening in your life. But this week is your 5th year. This week, you break the surface and shoot toward the sky. And I know the sinister doubt that creeps into your mind when you hear a message like this. The little voice in your head that whispers, that might be true for other people, but not for me. My situation is way too complicated. My debt is entirely too high to be forgiven. My illness is too rare for a cure. My past is far too broken to ever be redeemed. That voice is a lie straight from the pit, designed to keep you paralyzed in a mental prison of your own making. You are looking at your massive mountain through the tiny lens of human limitation. You are calculating your exit strategy using a calculator that only possesses human numbers. But we serve a majestic God who spoke the swirling galaxies into existence with a single breath. He is not intimidated by your bank account balance. He is not nervous or pacing the floor over your medical chart. The things that keep you up pacing the floor at 3 a.m. are completely insignificant to the creator of the cosmos. He can part your personal Red Sea just as easily as he parted the waters for Moses in the desert. Let's talk about the fear of hope, because this is a very real, very raw place that many of us get trapped in. You have been let down so many times by people, by jobs, by circumstances, that you are actually terrified to get your hopes up again. You've subconsciously built a massive, thick stone wall around your heart, thinking, if I don't expect anything good to happen, I won't be devastated when it inevitably falls apart. It's a survival mechanism. You've convinced yourself that settling for this dull, painful mediocrity is somehow safer than risking the agonizing pain of another shattered dream. But God is gently dismantling that stone wall right now, brick by brick. He is asking you to dare to hope again. He wants you to take the terrifying risk of believing in His goodness. Faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is feeling the paralyzing fear, acknowledging the painful history of past disappointments, and actively choosing to trust God anyway. He is standing outside your boat right now, holding His hand out over the raging waves, asking you to step out into the storm and walk on the water with Him. You've felt so incredibly isolated in this trial, haven't you? You look around, and it seems like everyone else is effortlessly living their best life. You scroll through social media, and you are bombarded with images of vacations, happy couples, effortless promotions, and beautiful new houses. And the enemy sits on your shoulder and whispers, "See, God blesses everyone else, but He actively ignores you. You are the tragic exception to His goodness." That profound sense of isolation is a highly strategic attack. When a predator hunts in the wild, it doesn't attack the whole herd at once. It carefully separates one animal from the pack, makes it feel entirely alone and vulnerable, and then it strikes. You are not forgotten, and you are not alone. The people you are constantly comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to have their own deep private struggles that they carefully filter out and never post online. But more importantly, God's divine plan for your life is completely unique. He doesn't mass-produce His blessings or copy and paste someone else's miracle onto your life. What He has meticulously crafted for you is custom-built for your specific destiny, and it cannot be delayed or stolen by anyone else on earth. I want you to mentally and spiritually prepare for the massive shift that is coming over the next few days. When this miracle arrives this week, it is going to require an entirely new version of you to sustain it. You cannot carry next-level blessings with a last-level mindset. You have to start talking today like you're already living in the blessing. You have to start walking with your head held high like you're already fully healed. You have to start making bold decisions like you're already completely debt-free. Stop talking endlessly about the size of your problems and start talking directly to your problems about the size of your God. Tell your anxiety that it no longer has any legal authority over your mind. Tell your depression that it has been permanently evicted by the joy of the Lord. Your words have immense creative power. Stop speaking death and defeat over your own future. Start prophesying to your own dry bones. Command them to stand up and live. Think of a caterpillar entering a chrysalis. To the outside observer, it looks peaceful. But inside, it is dark. It is highly restrictive, and it feels exactly like a tomb. To the caterpillar, it genuinely feels like the tragic end of its entire existence. Its old body literally breaks down into unrecognizable form. It loses its identity, its shape, its ability to move. If you could interview the caterpillar in that dark, tight place, it would tell you with absolute certainty that it is dying. But we know the brilliant truth of nature. We know that the dark, restrictive place is not a tomb at all. It is a womb. It is the necessary incubator for wings. You have been living inside the chrysalis. The immense pressure, the confusing darkness, the terrifying feeling that you are losing who you used to be. It's all happening because God is actively transforming you from a creature that is forced to crawl in the dirt into a creature that is designed to fly above the canopy. You are not being buried by your circumstances. You are being planted for a massive harvest. And this week, the shell is finally cracking open. For some of you listening right now, this massive miracle is going to manifest as sudden, unexplainable favor in your workplace or your business. Doors of opportunity that have been padlocked shut with thick iron chains for years are going to swing wide open without you even having to push them. People of high influence and authority are going to advocate for your name in boardrooms and offices you haven't even walked into yet. For others, it's going to be a miraculous transformation of the mind. That dark, heavy cloud of oppressive thoughts that has followed you around like a loyal shadow since childhood is going to suddenly lift. You are going to experience crystal clarity, deep peace, and a quiet, resting mind for the first time in as long as you can remember. For families listening to this, the generational curses of poverty, addiction, divorce, and brokenness are hitting a brick wall and stopping with you. You have been chosen as the cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. The miracle hitting your house this week is going to forcefully echo down your family tree for generations to come, changing the trajectory of children who haven't even been born yet. Do not treat this like just another motivational video that you passively scroll past, feel good about for 5 seconds, and completely forget by tomorrow morning. Let the gravity of this message drop like an anchor deep into your spirit. Set your expectation incredibly high for this week. Look aggressively for the hand of God in the small, seemingly insignificant details of your day. The miracle might start as a gentle whisper. It might begin as a random passing thought, a chance encounter with a stranger at the grocery store, or a totally unexpected email that ends up in your spam folder. Be alert. Be spiritually awake. The entire universe is currently conspiring in your favor under the direct command of Almighty God. The angels have been dispatched from heaven with your name written in bold letters on the package, and they are under strict orders not to return to heaven until the delivery is made directly to your doorstep. Your season of weeping has officially expired. The sun is rising over your horizon right now, burning away the fog of confusion and pain. The heavy, ash-covered coats of mourning you have been wearing are being violently stripped away and exchanged for bright, beautiful garments of praise. Stand tall today. Take a deep, filling breath of air into your lungs. Let the heavy, suffocating anxiety physically fall off your shoulders right now. You are profoundly loved by the Creator. You are deeply and intimately seen in your secret struggles, and you are fiercely protected by heavenly hosts. The furious storm that has battered your life has finally run out of rain. The long night has completely run out of darkness, and the enemy that tormented you has utterly run out of time. Step boldly into your week of complete victory. Step into the massive miracle that has your name on it. It is entirely yours. It is arriving right now, and it is more beautiful than you ever could have imagined. Right now, as you listen to the sound of this voice, I want you to take a slow, deep breath, because I know exactly how heavy your chest has been feeling lately. You didn't just stumble across this message by wandering through the internet. You were guided here in this specific, fragile moment in your life, because you are running on empty. You are utterly, profoundly exhausted. I am not just talking about the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. I am talking about a deep, aching exhaustion in your soul. The kind that settles into your bones when you have been fighting a battle that nobody else knows about. You have been carrying a weight that was never meant for your shoulders, trying to hold your entire world together while quietly feeling like everything is slipping right through your fingers. You look at the people around you and you wonder how they make it look so incredibly easy, while every single day for you feels like wading through thick, suffocating mud just to survive. Let's be completely honest about what it looks like behind closed doors, when the performance stops and you don't have to pretend anymore. I know about the times you've sat on the edge of your bed, staring blankly at the floor, totally paralyzed by the sheer volume of problems demanding your attention. You have become an expert at wearing a mask. You smile for your coworkers. You speak gently to your kids. You assure your family that you have everything under control. But the second you are alone in your car, the silence is deafening. You grip the steering wheel until your knuckles turn white, and the tears just fall. Not loud, sobbing tears, but those quiet, heavy tears of pure defeat. You are so tired of being the strong one. You are so tired of being the rock for everyone else, the one who always figures it out, the one who never drops the ball. Because right now, You feel like you are standing on the edge of a cliff, and the ground is crumbling beneath your feet. And you are terrified that if you let your guard down for even 1 second, your entire life is going to shatter. Think about the quiet humiliations that have been slowly chipping away at your dignity over these past few months. The stomach-dropping panic you feel standing at the grocery store checkout line, mentally calculating every single item in your cart, praying the total doesn't exceed the few dollars left in your account. The sickening dread of seeing a specific number pop up on your caller ID and knowing it's another collection agency, another final notice, another reminder of what you haven't been able to provide. Or maybe your pain isn't financial. Maybe it's the profound, agonizing sting of a relationship you poured your literal lifeblood into, only to watch it turn cold and indifferent. You have replayed the conversations in your head 1,000 times, wondering what you said wrong, what you could have done differently, obsessively searching for the exact moment you stopped being enough for them. You've swallowed your pride. You've apologized when you shouldn't have. You've contorted yourself into a pretzel, trying to save a situation that is slowly bleeding you dry. And in the middle of all this chaos, there is a very dark, very quiet fear that has started to take root in the back of your mind. It is the fear that maybe, just maybe, God is angry with you. You sit in the quiet of your room and you mentally audit your entire life, desperately trying to figure out what sin you committed, what mistake you made to deserve this kind of punishment. You think, I must have missed my calling. I must have taken a wrong turn somewhere, and now God has abandoned me to face the consequences alone. You watch other people receive their blessings, people who don't even pray, people who don't even try to live right, and you see them buying homes, getting promoted, finding love, glowing with health, and a quiet, bitter resentment starts to build inside you. You whisper into the dark, God, what about me? I've been faithful. I've tithed when I didn't have enough. I've served. I've believed. Why is my sky still made of brass? The silence of God in those moments is the most deafening, terrifying sound in the world. There was a specific moment recently where you just completely broke. You hit the absolute bottom of your emotional reserves. Maybe you were standing in the shower, letting the water run over your face so nobody in the house would hear you sobbing. Or maybe you were folding laundry or washing dishes, and out of nowhere, your knees just gave out. You didn't have the energy to pray a pretty theological prayer. You didn't quote scripture. You just wept, a primal, guttural cry from the depths of your spirit, and you told the ceiling, I am done. I cannot take one more hit. If you are real, if you are there, you have to help me because I am drowning. You felt entirely hollowed out, entirely stripped of any human capacity to fix your own life. But I need to tell you a profound spiritual truth about that moment of absolute devastation. That breaking point, that wasn't the end of your story. That was the moment of your surrender. As long as you were trying to fix it with your own 2 hands, with your own exhausted intellect, with your own frantic maneuvering, God had to stand back and let you strive. But the moment you finally dropped your hands, the moment you admitted total bankruptcy of your own strength, you cleared the stage for a divine intervention. God does not deal in half measures. He does not share his glory with our human cleverness. He waits until the doctors have said there is no medical hope. He waits until the bank account is completely overdrawn. He waits until the tomb has been sealed for 4 days and the situation smells like death, so that when he finally moves, nobody in your life, not your critics, not your family, not even your own doubting mind, can say it was anything other than the miraculous hand of Almighty God. And that is exactly why this specific week is the turning point of your entire existence. The spiritual climate hovering over your life right now is radically shifting. I know your physical eyes don't see it yet. You look out the window and the sky looks the same. You check your phone and the problems are still there. but the natural world is always the absolute last thing to catch up to a spiritual reality. Right now, in dimensions you cannot perceive, a fierce battle is violently concluding in your favor. Think of the biblical story of Daniel. He prayed and fasted for 3 weeks, begging God for an answer, and he heard absolutely nothing. For 21 agonizing days he sat in total silence, wondering if God had ignored him. But when the angel finally broke through, the angel told him, "The very first day you prayed, God released the answer. But I was fought by a demonic prince in the heavenly realms, and it took me 21 days to break through the battle lines." Your miracle was not denied. Your miracle was heavily, violently contested. The enemy saw the magnitude of the blessing God had packaged for you, and he dispatched every force of hell to intercept it, to delay it, to frustrate you into giving up right before the delivery. The sheer intensity of the hell you have been going through these last few years is the exact measurement of the massive blessing that is about to drop into your lap. The devil does not waste his best ammunition on someone who isn't a threat. He wouldn't have fought your finances this hard. He wouldn't have attacked your mind this fiercely. He wouldn't have tried to destroy your family with such calculated precision if you were just an ordinary person with an ordinary future. He is terrified of what happens to the kingdom of darkness when you finally realize who you are and step into your full inheritance. But the resistance has officially broken. The dam that has been holding back your provision is cracking, and this week it is going to completely give way. Have you ever seen a massive concrete dam burst? It doesn't happen politely. It doesn't happen with a slow, gentle trickle. For years, the water builds up immense pressure behind the wall, totally unseen. Then one day, a hairline fracture appears. And within seconds, millions of gallons of water violently explode through the concrete, obliterating everything in its path, permanently altering the entire landscape of the valley below. That is how the favor of God is going to hit your life this week. It is going to be a sudden, violent flood of blessing that completely eradicates the drought you have been living in. It is going to wipe out years of debt, years of sickness, years of loneliness, and years of profound sorrow in one single, undeniable sweep of divine power. I know exactly what is happening in your mind right now as you hear these words. A highly sophisticated defense mechanism is firing off in your brain. You are desperately trying to talk yourself out of hoping. The trauma of your past disappointments is screaming at you. Do not believe this. Remember what happened last time you got your hopes up? Remember when you thought that job was the one and they hired someone else? Remember when you thought that person was going to stay and they walked away? If you believe this and nothing happens, the disappointment will literally kill you. I understand that paralyzing fear of hope. Hope feels incredibly dangerous when your heart is covered in bruises. You have built a fortress of cynicism around your emotions to protect yourself from ever feeling that specific sickening drop in your stomach again. You have decided that expecting the worst is the only safe way to live. But God is gently asking you today to do the bravest, most terrifying thing a human being can do. He is asking you to let the walls down and risk trusting Him one more time. He is whispering to your bruised heart, "I am not like the people who broke your trust. I am not like the systems that failed you. I do not lie, and I do not change my mind." Faith is not a feeling of warm fuzzies. Faith is standing in the middle of a raging hurricane, feeling the freezing rain lash against your face, looking at a mountain of past failures, and making the agonizing, gritty, deliberate choice to say, "Even though I am terrified, I will trust you anyway." You have to evict the spirit of fear that has taken up residence in your mind. You have to stop rehearsing your tragedies and start rehearsing your triumphs. You cannot prepare for a massive harvest while you are still aggressively mourning over the seeds that died in the last season. This breakthrough isn't just about making your life a little bit more comfortable. There is a generational weight to what is happening to you right now. You need to look deeply at your family tree. Look at the patterns of addiction, the cycles of poverty, the history of broken marriages, the inherited anxiety that has plagued your bloodline for decades. Your parents struggled with it. Your grandparents fought the exact same demons. It is a thick, dark chain that has been wrapped around your family's neck for 100 years. But God handpicked you, out of everyone in your lineage, to be the cycle breaker. He allowed you to endure this intense, fiery furnace because He knew you were the only one strong enough to survive it and forge a new weapon. The miracle coming to your house this week isn't just going to pay off your mortgage or heal your physical body. It is going to definitively snap that generational chain in half. Because of the battle you are winning right now, your children will never have to fight the demons you fought. Your grandchildren will be born into a legacy of immense favor, profound peace, and unbreakable spiritual authority. You are paying the price right now to buy back the future of your entire family line. I want you to vividly imagine what the next few days are going to feel like. I want you to mentally transport yourself to Thursday or Friday of this week. You wake up, and the atmosphere in your bedroom is entirely different. That familiar, crushing weight that usually sits on your chest, the anxiety that forces you to take short, shallow breaths, is completely gone. Your lungs expand fully for the first time in years. You walk into your kitchen, make a cup of coffee, and your phone rings. It's an unexpected voice on the other end of the line. It's the approval you've been waiting for. It's the miraculous medical report. It's the reconciliation you thought was permanently impossible. Or you open your email, and staring back at you is the exact provision you needed, from a source you never even considered. You will literally have to sit down in a chair, because your legs will feel weak from the shock of how suddenly and beautifully God has answered your prayer. You will weep, but this time, they won't be tears of agonizing defeat. They will be hot, heavy tears of pure, overwhelming gratitude. To prepare for this, you have to radically change your posture, starting this very second. Stop walking through your house with your shoulders slumped in defeat. Stop talking about your problems as if they are permanent fixtures in your life. Stop calling it my anxiety, my debt, or my sickness. Stop taking ownership of the things God is actively trying to deliver you from. Start speaking to your atmosphere. When a dark, oppressive thought tries to enter your mind tonight, you do not entertain it. You speak out loud to the empty room, and you say, I refuse to accept fear. My season of weeping has expired. My God is moving on my behalf right now. You have to align your words with the reality of heaven, not the temporary reality of your current circumstances. The long, freezing winter of your soul is officially melting away. The frozen ground is thawing. The seeds you planted in absolute tears, the prayers you whispered when you felt like you couldn't even form words, have been incubating in the dark soil, and they are bursting through the surface. God has seen every single secret tear. He has carefully recorded every single moment you chose to keep walking, even when you wanted to die. He is deeply, violently protective of you, and He is moving heaven and earth right now to orchestrate a rescue mission so spectacular that it will leave you entirely speechless. Your massive, undeniable, life-altering miracle is arriving this week. Stand tall, open your hands, and prepare your heart to receive the absolute goodness of God. If this message brought life back into your weary spirit today, please consider subscribing and sharing this with someone else who is desperately waiting in the dark, so we can continue to build our faith and walk into this incredible new season together.
My child, before you go, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell icon, and comment if you believe I am guiding your life. May blessings follow you today.